Okay, it's 6 o'clock, so I'm going to call the Park and Rec meeting for today, February 2nd, to order. Okay, and we'll go over, the first thing we'll go over are the Park and Rec commissioners that are in attendance. We have Sarah, Ryan, Mary Ellen, myself, and Don here in the room right now. Anyone out in telephone land with Park and Rec? Are you there, Brendan? No? Who else is missing? Oh, there's Brendan. There he is. It's better than being on the telephone as I was searching for you. Okay, Missy's not on. She had to travel, and
Tim would be the only.
Tim is the only one we're missing?
He had an away game today. I don't know if he's back yet.
Oh, so he had an away game, so he may come in later. But we have a quorum, so we can continue. And first thing we're going to do is approve the previous meeting minutes from December, which was our last meeting. And I read these minutes, and they seem perfectly fine to me. Any commissioner have any comment on addition or subtraction?
Nothing for me.
No? Okay, somebody please make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the December minutes.
Okay, a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Abstain? None. Okay. All right, we move on. The next one is we have to do the election for officers for this year. Currently, the officers are the chair, myself, Brendan is the vice chair, and Mary Ellen is the secretary. Does anyone want to make a motion for this, or anybody?
Can I make a motion if I'm on there?
Yeah, well,
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, okay, to just approve the present slate?
Indeed.
Okay, second, somebody?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Abstain? No. Okay, so that's taken care of. Okay, so the next thing is the Lime Little League lights at Cross Fields, and I imagine a couple of you guys are with the Little League, or?
Yes, sir.
Oh, do you have the names?
I only have Mike Reed, writer. Who else is here?
Matthew Reed.
Oh, Matthew Reed.
Okay, so you guys, just the two from, the young lady over here is not, or?
My name is Jerry Baker. I chair the Lime Senior Center Building Committee.
Okay.
Jerry with a G?
It's J.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, we've gotten, or at least to this date, I guess we've all gotten the emails that were sent to Don and all, and this budget estimate from this one person that was sent to Matt Reed. Do you want to make a presentation as to why you think Little League needs lights?
And we certainly will. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm 6'6", so I'm not going to stand. Kind of falls under the category of hovering, which I don't want to do. I'm the president of Lime Little. My writer here is our secretary. We can tell you more about communications. Matt Ward is also, he's been on our board for many years as well. I've been the president for, I think it's about 8 years. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I approached the commission then, and we fully understand that Town Woods, which is far different than the Cross Lane complex, especially for the field that we're hoping to light. And one of the reasons is we are the only program in our district that no longer has lights. We're the Wrigley Field of basically the most competitive district in the state, and that's for both baseball and softball. The field that we're hoping to move forward with fundraising efforts needed and any of the help that the town can be with that is the girls softball field located behind Mile Creek. And the reason why we want to start with that, and if that's the only one we can ever live, that's fine. It doesn't have the residential impact, if you will. Lighting that field, especially with today's technology, the candle power gets directed directly down to the field. I don't know if you're aware, like in Saybrook, they lit their football field. And that's just in the last few years. And of course, there was a lot of uproar because of the residences and the impact there. And we also fully understand that the boys' baseball field, there is a house that, for traffic patterns, it would maybe be affected. And any of the ancillary light coming from that, and they like the basketball court and invite people to be playing at night. We're not looking to light that field. We want to light the girls' softball field, which with a temporary amount the boys can use as well. And well, what's the need? Ultimately, my career ended with Chicago Cubs. Greg Mannix was my roommate in minor leagues, and he made $400 million, and I'm a retired cop, so you know how that all worked out.
Did you both on the team?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you play?
I was pitcher. I was relief pitcher.
Yeah. And what was he?
And then I couldn't brush my teeth, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
So, I grew up in Norwalk, Stamford. Stamford, as maybe you know, has always been a baseball mecca. We successful ball players come out of there. We didn't have lights when we were kids, and I think as a parent of two younger ones, and I'll speak for Mike for a moment, there isn't anything that we wouldn't do for our kids. We are the only program in the district that does not have lights. One of my cherished memories is that was always a big deal, because you got to play under the lights. We can only do that if we're visiting somebody else with our teams. In the past few years, we've become very, very competitive. We have over 220 kids in our program, and we expect that number to grow. The T-ballers are dominating. Gotten over 70 of them in the last 2 years.
Everybody came out of the woodwork once the COVID thing calmed down.
Yeah, once the COVID thing calmed down, and I give my board, we have 13 members, of which, like I say, Mike is really a main hub of they're all in favor of it. This is not just one person saying, hey, I want to live vicariously through my kids. I think it's something that online, we're ready for it. We're ready to have it. And I really, if it was ever put to a referendum, whether it was for monetary purposes or just to have it, because there is no impact to the neighborhood. Worst case scenario, no innings to be played after 9:30 or 9 o'clock. Really, that's all we're kind of talking about, from 7 to 9. We're not really looking to, although we've been approached, our fields, to the town's credit, are viewed by everyone in the district as being top-notch. Everybody loves to come and play on our field. Well, they also love to play them in All-Stars, too. And if I were to tell you that there seems to be an advantage when All-Stars roll around to those teams that host, that's 100% accurate. Little leaguers don't travel well. So for us, we're constantly, because those games are played at night, we have to go to Waterford or East Lyme where they have lights, or many of the other towns now have them. And everybody wants to host those tournaments. Yeah, I think it's a matter of being used to the lights. Somebody saying, hey, we got to host all the All-Star tournaments. I'm not saying. But I think it's a wonderful thing that we can do for our kids, both boys and girls. So again, I'm not here saying, oh, I just want to do it for the girls. It's for the boys too. It's a temporary mound out on the field, and now the boys can. So, Musco is Little League International's contracted installer of these lights. I believe Mike has, and I don't have any of your emails except for maybe Doug's. If you wanted to look at that, if it hasn't already been presented to you, the cost for that. But I understand our first step is to ask for your blessing and say, you know what? we'll let you go to the next step of the process to do it. And it's all about the kids, and I think it is. We are the Wrigley Field of District 10. So, and Mike can speak for himself.
I think, I guess the only two things I would add is that, one is the Little League grows, which it clearly is growing. We're starting, not having lights limits our ability to play games, limits how many games we can have, because we can stop playing when it gets dark, particularly in the fall season. So myself and Tanner Glantz, who's the VP for softball on the board, came and talked to Don in December, and that's what we've been talking about on the board. And then Don had mentioned that there was already plans underway for Cross Lane right now, and so we also felt like that was a good time to have this conversation. So we're doing Cross Lane for basketball courts, for example, or tennis courts. We're doing it all at once.
Well, that was another one of my projects, brainchilds that I came up with. Was throughout the town, for our youth, all of the youth programs, there is a tremendous amount of stress for indoor space for all the sports to practice on. Our high school programs, they just had a wrestling. I think it was a year ago, Tim?
Yeah.
They're over here in Center School. And so we threw out that idea of, hey, why don't we cover or enclose those tennis courts and basketball courts? Now it can be used, you can still play tennis, you can still play basketball, the neighbors next door aren't going to be affected by the noise, because at that point it's now all indoors. But that was, let's start with, we'd really just like to light this off field, because nobody has indoor space right now. That was that other big job.
Okay.
In conjunction with the town. It's not like we just want to come to the town and say, hey, you got to foot this bill. We're more than happy to do the fundraising necessary prior to doing anything to make sure that we have that.
Okay, anybody have a question or comment, or?
Question about cost, Matt. So what is the potential cost for it?
200, I believe it's 200,000.
Yeah, it's 185 for that's softball field is 145 plus or minus 10% according to this estimate.
And
who made this estimate? Who was it?
A company called Musco.
Yeah.
They are the contracted company that does this for Little League International programs. I guess I could call Mike Sweeney and say, hey, Mike, give me a quote. John Cigaranzo, give me a quote as well.
That's pretty good. I was just curious. And then, Don, well, how much money do you think that you could fundraise for that?
Whatever you're not willing to come up with, I can shake down people pretty well.
Don't stand up, though.
No? Only when it's time to send the check.
Yeah.
From a procedural standpoint, and Don, maybe you know this, how would that work, trying to get money to do it, assuming that the commission says it's a go?
Well, if people raise money as funds, it gets deposited to an account in here, managed by the finance department for a specific need. Gets a different account number like that, so it's there to be used. They could just deposit it.
But if there was a shortfall, how would that money?
Well, if there's a shortfall, it's a problem, because you got to figure out how much money you're going to raise, when you need it by, and stuff like that. If you can't get it, if they're requesting the town to put money in, I've already penciled in some money in my budget that I'm meeting with the Board of Finance in a couple of weeks, so they could just draw a line through it, or they could say, yeah, it's a good idea. So.
And is some of that for the basketball court and the pickleball?
That's separate.
That's already, that money's set aside already.
It's already separate.
All right.
But we're short on that too already, because prices have gone up so much.
Yeah.
And what would be any negative things? What would anyone be opposed to?
There are traffic concerns for any of the residences in that area. at those hours. Like I said, you put a restriction on no inning to be played after a certain time frame. And that's why I say parking has to be at Mile Creek School. First off, parking is already there.
Right.
And so that traffic pattern really, those residents in that area really can't complain too much about traffic per se, other than, well, it's at 9 o'clock at night. Okay. What else? There's traffic there 24 hours, not 24, but it's a very busy part of town anyway.
Well, I mean, it is next to a firehouse and a school and a park. I guess people should expect that.
Well, you would think. Now, I know that of course, there's Matt Ward's house, which, him having 5 children, and they've all come through our program, and some are still there. He's all for it. And the other house is literally right next to the ambulance corps. And, hey, for the basketball courts to be lit up, if I were them, I might have a concern.
But we're not talking about basketball.
No.
Okay, yeah, okay.
If they were to say, hey, I really don't like this, well, it doesn't impact it at all. Truly, other than cars drive in the cross lane and cars drive out.
Another thing that will come up is, you know how much they cost to install, how much do they cost to operate them? That electric bill, because the town's electric bills get absorbed from different places, like Cross Lane Firehouse and the Little League building, that gets paid for together by the town. So what impact would lights have on the electric bill? That's gonna be a question that I'm gonna ask.
I will get the research done.
Yeah, I have no idea how much lights,
I don't know, but you could certainly, as you said, there are lights in all over the place. You could just pick up, call them and
Well, I'll just call Musco and say,
say how much.
what's the average cost and the time cost?
Yeah, I think that would be,
It'd be a good thing to know.
Matt, you say that if all these other towns have lights, maybe it'd be a good idea, especially if they just installed it in the last few years. As we all know, in the last couple of years, prices have gone up a lot because of the supply chain business. But if you can get some recent total costs for the project, because on here, basically, it talks just about the lights. Doesn't really talk about hooking up with the electric company and what they charge, because we know from past experience, Townwoods Park and Haynes Park, there are lots of expenses included in all that to get hooked up or to get whatever infrastructure you need for any of these projects. So maybe it'd be a good idea, other than, I'm sure this is a pretty decent estimate, but maybe get a few more numbers on what this may cost. And a good starting point would be if all these other towns have it. Well, what was their total number for installation and getting it going, and what's their numbers for maintaining, like especially with the electric bill going up almost twice as much, the power for the electric come January, what would it cost to have the lights on for 2 or 3 hours or whatever it's going to be? And how often would the lights be on? Every night or once a week? Or, a lot of these things would be valuable information for doing the due diligence on your part as well as ours, okay? So you may want to look into a couple of those things. Anybody else have?
I have one more thing. I'll talk to the finance director, but, because they're responsible for insuring town buildings and stuff like that. Are lights something that needs to fall on the insurance policy? Is there additional costs on that? Are there any restrictions on our town's insurance? I'll find out if there's anything involving that, because we've never done it.
Right, I understand that. I mean, all of this is brand new, even getting this far, and I deeply appreciate the time to talk about it.
Because the need apparently is the need just to be like all the other towns and have this at night. But you talked about how the Little League is growing in numbers. I remember my kids, just going back almost 20 years, just for an idea, I think there were 6 or 7 Little League teams back then when Phil Neaton was in charge. But how many Little League teams do you have now? And how many girls softball teams do you have now?
want to say in total, we have 14 teams? Yeah.
For the Little League, not for T-ball or any of that, yeah.
Including T-ball, it goes T-ball, coach pitch, what they call kid pitch.
It's different now, Bob.
Major.
Everything's different than 20 years ago.
Where you were talking about, yes, we had 5 or 6 teams at that time.
Yeah.
At the majors level for boys only.
Right, yeah.
At this point this year, we're gonna have at least 2 majors boys, 2 majors girls, probably 3 AAA or kid pitch boys, 3 or 4 on the girls' side, and then coach pitch, the numbers just start getting bigger and bigger, because I've even got a 4-year-old. Can my kid play kid pitch? No, you know, I got the next Greg Maddox. No, you don't. I'm sure you don't, but that's okay.
Yeah, so you don't have all that many major league teams, it seems, and with that, so you would want lights for non-major league teams to play too?
When I say sometimes, I'll say our biggest, when I say need, is because of the number of teams, and quite honestly, the Board of Ed fields that we use, or that we're allowed to use, they're not as maintained as the parks and rec fields are. Our fields are in excellent shape, and I know that we have a lot to do with that. And so where I'm going with it is we've had practices where we've gotten about halfway in and now it's dark. You know, you can't finish the drill work because we share those fields amongst those programs. And this year is going to be a big challenge, especially on the girls' side, because we're loaded. I mean, we just have a ton.
Yeah, because I remember 20 years ago that we would have practices anywhere, just on grass or whatever, and because the fields at the school weren't in very good shape, and that's why Town Woods happened, because my kids couldn't play a home soccer game for 2 years because the fields were in such bad shape. And so we got that and a lot of volunteer effort and state grants. Have you looked into state grants for something like this?
I haven't, but I'd be more than happy to do that, to offset the out-of-pocket expense for you guys or the fundraising efforts.
Sure, there may be. You talk to some of the people from the other, hey Winnie, some of the other towns, and have they been able to ever get any state money or steep grants are the ones usually?
Right.
Yeah, because that would be helpful, because I think Don already told you that, I think Don already told you that, especially this year, with all the school referendum being passed, all the things that we're currently doing to fix up tennis courts, and other things, Haynes Park, and that right now is probably, and plus the electric rate going up twice, it's a good time to get it started, but it's not the time to ask for the money. Is that a way to put it, Don? Because they're going to be pretty strapped to come up with all the money.
Well, I think a lot of people think that way, yeah.
Yeah. So, and of course, it's not, we're very far away from just implementing anything here, because I think we have to do our due diligence and get more estimates, as I said. Maybe more of a justification as to why you need to be open until 9 o'clock rather than, I mean, in at least the spring and the summer, it's still light out at 8 o'clock, right?
Well, it is at 8.
Yeah. And I don't know if you said 9 o'clock it would all end, what would be the ending time, or?
Well, probably 9:50.
Yeah. So I can understand, especially in the fall, the need for lights, because in the fall the soccer teams start late in the summer, and then all of a sudden it's starting to get.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the other opportunity. It doesn't have to just be baseball, softball. I know that some of us who grew up, we would have even football fields on our baseball field. So it's not that we wouldn't want to get it.
Is the field behind Mile Creek large enough to leverage the lights for an additional sport option like that?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Well, you can't have an official high school game on that field. Soccer, we're talking about soccer, or even, but I know that at the lower levels, the younger levels, they don't use a full-size field. So that would be even a great, just half it for training purposes for soccer. Because we have a tremendous youth soccer program. So I've been told, I'm not a soccer guy, What do you do, put the guy in the goal? Yeah, put the groom in the goal.
In my discussions with Don, he said another reason that there was a want for this was to have tournaments there at night. Now, we've had some experience with baseball tournaments down there, and with the limited parking and the fact there's only 2 fields, especially the last one turned out to be had to be shut down. It was a total fiasco out there.
I'm very familiar.
Are there visions of having tournaments? And my second part to that is, if you have tournaments, can't you have tournaments at 2 sites, to have a tournament at Cross Lane and also out at Town Woods? There's 2 good fields out there.
I won't disagree with you. I'm with you 1,000%.
Especially you have tons of parking out at Town Woods, and if you guys want to throw a tournament, that might be the best way to do it, rather than just having it Cross Lane site, to have it at a couple sites, and you could have it during the day.
I agree wholeheartedly, sir.
I just heard something about tournaments, and I said to myself, well, I think one of the ways to make tournaments work is to use both sites at the same time, rather than just one.
And it's a huge fundraiser.
Yeah, and it would be a fundraiser too for a nonprofit like Little League. Yeah, which we tend to favor more to do that rather than it's just for making money for somebody.
And that's not our goal.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe if you're thinking about tournaments, I would hope you consider that idea, to have it at both places, and that way you can invite lots of people, and over a day or 2, you can have a nice tournament if you use both sites. You talk about raising funds, which is always looked at more favorably by the town than just the town picking up the full cost. And in some cases, that's worked very well. The best example was the playground out at Town Woods Park, where they raised all the funds through either some state grants or a very effective business plan they had for raising funds. Do you guys have some sort of business plan for raising funds, or you just...
We've had our last couple of meetings to develop that target that we want to hit. And Mike can speak more to that, and really Matt Ward, because he's been our treasurer for like a year. So.
Yeah, and just to go one step further in that, do you envision that you could raise half the money of the cost of one of these places, or what do you envision, or more than half?
I do.
Along the lines of fundraising, sort of, have you guys talked to or considered talking to the town of Lyme for a contribution to see its Lyme Little League?
Yeah, won't argue with you, absolutely.
And it's Oline property, but
Yeah.
I might tell you no because it's Oline property, but I think we should at least ask. Because there's a whole other thing going on around townwide here about Lyme and who pays for what. That would be definitely added into those discussions.
So their kids play in our program.
Yeah.
And it's called Lyme. So.
Yeah, no, we've gotten a lot of good cooperation, but then at some points we haven't got cooperation with Lyme, and so we're...
Just one more road to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that, like I said, to get numbers from not only what it costs right to installation, but what it costs to run lights at night at some of these other towns.
Mm-hmm.
And who would pick up that part of the electric bill? Would the Lyme Little League pick that up?
I would, absolutely.
Yeah. And that would, of course, the more you had lights on, the more nights you had lights on, the more that would be, that expenditure.
Okay, let's move on.
So I would suggest maybe getting some numbers on that and also some more commitment from your people in fundraising because that would be an additional expense that we really don't need. It'd be nice to have, but.
I would imagine, though, Bob, that, and then one last comment, Matt, and then maybe I can let you go. But I would imagine that if there's those costs for the future, whenever that may be, will have to be borne somehow, and if they're not, then the lights don't go on.
Yeah.
Look at it that way. And I'll just say this, Matt. I love the idea. I support it. I appreciate your vision in doing this. I wish that this was there when I was playing. I think it's a great thing. It's a great opportunity. Obviously, there's a lot of nuance that needs to be worked out, but I think it probably can. And if it can't, then it can't. But the first step is this. And I think it's awesome. So, good luck with the fundraising and trying to get all those ducks in a row. I'm confident that you'll be successful. And I look forward to hearing what you present to us moving forward. That's my position.
No, thank you. And to the operating expenses of any of our expenditures, we have never run in the red. So that gets factored into our registration fees, which, comparatively speaking, are probably the lowest with the exception of
Well, yeah, well, I think how much of the operating would you, right now it sounds like the town picks up all the electric and all that. But in something like this, of course, that would be an added expense, or is the Little League willing to do, yeah. And to make sure that you have the proper funds to do it, so you can make this successful. We talked about going to other towns to get more prices and more estimate. We have to do a little more before I think we could come to a conclusion if this is going to be good to do. Maybe do in phases, of course. One field first and see how that works out, and whether or not we could do the other field. When I saw this estimate, I wasn't quite sure if it also covered to all the installation, but it seems to be just the installation on the fields, but not the installation of any accessories to the fields, kind of like hooking up with the electric company, for one.
Right, and those are questions I'll call the representative from Moscow and say, okay, hey, I need a comprehensive.
Yeah, if you could get some sort of written copy back to us.
And he may say, Matt, that's it, that's soup to nuts. We hook you up to then again, he may say, no, you have to get an electrical contractor to hook up to the, whatever they do.
Yeah. Or like I said, either get some numbers from other towns, or if you maybe get another estimate from somebody else, that would be helpful, so everyone's aware of what the town would be getting into. That would be good. And there was something down here about soil conditions, and the estimates are based on the July 2021 pricing and subject to change. What? They don't have numbers for last year? Why? Because in the last year things have gone up, a lot. If it's possible to get those numbers, I think it would be helpful. Okay, and the soil conditions, there's a lot of rocks around here, but our standard soil would we qualify for standard soil conditions?
We would. What he's talking about there is because the light poles have to go on concrete, bases.
Yes.
If the field is, depending upon the location of the post, hey, is there ledge there, or can we, just dig it out, put the base in? Not a big problem.
Yeah. Okay.
We do have an oak tree we'd love to get rid of.
Oh yes. I'm glad you brought that up, because I saw somewhere. I guess one of your emails. Do we ever get a number on removing that? I know that tree we got.
We never got permission.
Yeah, because I know limbs had to be taken
Yeah,
off or
they've
so?
stripped it before, but you've never gotten permission to remove it, even though I personally think it should be removed, but that's up to the tree commission.
Yeah,
One more thing that you should probably check into is the land use folks upstairs, the zoning stuff about lights and all that stuff and where you are.
Good idea.
No, we got three. I think Matt.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Check that stuff out too, 'cause
Yeah.
they throw a curve.
yeah, if you could check that stuff out, maybe next meeting or meeting after, come back with some of these things that we've talked about, it would be good. Yeah, to remove, that tree's been a problem for a long time, huh?
We actually had a kid hit it this past season, which was like, well, nobody's ever gonna hit that. Oh, well, I guess maybe somebody hit it.
They're doing something right there.
Yeah.
Well, at least a limb from a tree hasn't hit anybody.
Yeah, no, just the acorns.
Okay, all right, so, I think any updates that you have, we could go over at a future meeting, some of the things we've discussed about.
Absolutely.
And, 'cause I think we need to get a little more information before we can come out and say, yeah, we think it's, it sounds like a good idea, but I think we need a lot more,
Oh, I agree.
yeah, numbers, yeah, to,
Yeah, thanks for coming. The information is great.
yeah, and,
I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea.
yeah,
Do
so.
you guys have any new questions for us? Or do you think you covered everything? Seems like we're going back and forth here with the same stuff over and
Yeah.
over. I think we just need to move on.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good thing you brought up about the school. Has the school thought about putting lights on? Because in most communities, the school has lights, and then a lot of times people get to play.
I think we should just stick with this for right now. I think that's jumping to a whole nother, it doesn't need to go there
I agree.
right now. I think we should.
I just ask, I used to be a scientist, I ask lots of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Matt, I just want to say, I second what Brendan said. Love the idea.
Yeah.
Grew up in town. Would love to play under lights with Brendan in this town.
I mean, like, you know, we were highly successful in the Little League programs that I played in, but we never got to play under the lights. It wasn't until I was in high school that ever really happened, and that was.
No, and you're right. The kids, I mean, I've coached enough soccer to know the kids love going to a place where they're playing under the lights. There's a new energy about it. It's just a cool thing, you know. So I'd love to have a field lit in this town, for sure.
I think we work out some of the particulars. It's a good thing to do. I think that now that the finance knows it's on the board, let's see what they have to say. And if you guys could get some more of this information to us, that would be great. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Great idea.
thanks.
Awesome.
I gotta get around the kids out of the lobby and go to practice.
Okay, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
And just keep in touch with Don about if you want, when you're ready to provide more information or whatever.
I will, I'll forward it on.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay. On to the next subject, the director's report, Don.
Jerry, are you here for the
Well, what,
gate stuff?
Sorry?
Are you here for the,
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say, but.
I was wondering if you want to make a motion to have Jerry go next to her so she could,
Oh.
unless you wanted to stay.
I think we could do that with a special meeting, right? A special meeting, we can do that, yeah.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Yeah, why is this a special meeting?
Because I didn't sign up for a month in advance. I was in Costa Rica,
Agenda,
Panama.
We're just moving.
Just moving it, adding.
I second it.
Yeah, I think we can move it because we're not adding anything. So somebody make a motion, and if we get slapped, we'll say sorry.
I'll move the new business senior center gate location to this place in the agenda, please.
Second.
Okay, great. Any more discussion? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nobody. Abstained? Nobody. Okay. Okay, yes, okay, just a little bit of history, Don. We've heard that somebody approached you about moving the gate.
Real quickly, Stephanie at the senior center has brought up the idea of moving the current gate at Townwoods Park, out towards Townwoods Road, to close off the entire area, Senior Center and Townwoods Park included. That's the Reader's Digest.
This is what we had, this was what came to us before.
Yeah, but this is.
Yeah, I think before, yeah.
Okay, so that part hasn't changed.
No.
Okay.
Okay, and so I know that we've talked about where would the best place be for a gate, and I just want to ask, why isn't it considered okay to put a gate by the senior center parking lot?
Okay, first of all, I want to make sure you understand that I chair the two town building committee, the appointed committee for the two towns. I also chair the board of directors at the center. The concern that we had about moving the gate originally was because there was quite a bit of what I should say questionable activity taking place in our parking lot over the last 2 or 3 years.
Like, can you give examples? What is?
I can give you an example, but I don't want you to report it.
We know what questionable means.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I have an idea what one of the questionables
Well,
means.
I can give you one example of a woman who was under the weather in some way coming into the lot, taking down one of the lampposts and driving off and leaving. The only way we found out about her was she left her license plate there.
Oh, okay.
That's just one of many incidents that we
Okay.
had. So originally the concern was maybe the gate could be moved closer to the road, and I know that in discussions with Matt Weber, the police were also on board with the possibility that that would be a good thing. It would save them a lot of time going into the park and going all around the park and around the center if the gate was moved closer to the road. So that was the original discussion. But what we're doing now is we're at the point in the building committee project, which started in October of 2019, working on that project. We're at the point now where we actually might be able to break ground on, if things go the way we hope it goes, in October or November of this year for a major construction site. Okay. And if you look at the actual plot that the center's on, it takes up, it's a 400-foot by 400-foot square that actually goes over, actually across the driveway and encompasses all the parking spots that are within that 400 by 400 square foot. In a discussion that I had when I met with Tim Griswold on the 20th of January, he brought up the gate again. He just got brought up amongst other discussions of other things that we're doing. And my concern at that point, the architect's concern at that point is that when we do start construction, that's going to be a vulnerable site because it's fairly isolated. And even though the contractors, whoever we hire, are going to have to put up fencing around that site pretty extensively, and I'm going to ask them to do cameras, I'm going to ask them to do whatever they have to do for their security, we're still concerned about the vulnerability of that as a construction site, people coming in at night, or even in the broad daylight. There's been robberies and vandalism of sites in broad daylight. But at night particularly, to protect that site and prevent anybody from getting injured or any vandalism or any damage. That was one concern. And the other reason why is that the center is going to be closed for at least 9 months to do this. This is a major renovation project. New roof, everything's going to be redone. 9 months is the minimum that we're looking at. It's more going to be like a year, probably, before it would be open. So there was the concern that there was no concern really about anything that's happening at the center for that period of time. There wasn't anything going on there except construction, either before before 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, or even after 3 o'clock, when we usually have after 3 o'clock programs. So nothing's going to happen. The VFW has to move their meetings. Everybody's going to have to move off. So, in having that discussion, Tim thought it would be a reasonable thing to just bring it up again. Okay. I talked with him this afternoon at length, and basically all I'm here is to relay his message that he would like to meet with you, Don, me. Stephanie can be involved in this discussion, but it's really more about this building project that's going to happen. And also with David Long from Lyme, First Selectman from Lyme, whom I spoke to again this afternoon as well. So that we can come to some understanding about what the restrictions are going to be for parking or anything else that happens on that site while the construction takes place. That's basically all I'm here to say. So I just wanted to give you he asked me to give you the message tonight.
Okay.
I told him I was coming.
All right.
That we will schedule a meeting and get together.
Sure.
Do whatever we have.
Sure, no problem.
Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. But if you have any other questions for me, I'm here.
I have one question. If you put a gate towards the street and somebody pulls in, how would they have, how could you have a turnaround?
It wouldn't be right on the street. The thinking, Matt Weber thought this would be reasonable too. It would be a little bit further into the driveway, but enough for a car to go in and then turn around and be able to back out.
They have something like that at High Hopes, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like High Hopes. But we also, we understand what the needs might be for the park itself, but we're moving forward for this project, so we have to do it, because we're over 1,000 members now as a center, and we need the space and we need the renovation.
Okay, anybody have any other questions? Yeah, right now, we have somebody that opens and closes the gate at Townwoods Park. Since the police wouldn't have to patrol as much if their gate was there, would they be in charge of opening and closing this gate, do you think?
We tried that before under the previous administration, and it didn't work very well at all.
Yeah, we had to, yeah.
They don't want to be gatekeepers.
We figured out on your end, on
Yeah.
whatever your needs are.
And I think the other thing was, I'm not quite sure we could use the gate that we have at Townwoods Park.
We'll talk about all that. We don't need to discuss
Look at
it.
Yeah, is that going to be part, and that, my last question, is that going to be part of the building committee for the town, for the senior center? Or is it going to be included in that?
No, this is the gate that belongs to the town. It's not the gate that belongs to the senior center.
Oh, okay.
But
So,
you and Stephanie work together for whatever the gate needs.
We do
She
currently.
has a line item in her budget that she deals with, but she's going to offset it until 2024.
And who is Stephanie?
Stephanie Gould is the director of the
Gould?
center. Yeah.
okay, well, anybody else?
Nothing for me.
No? Yeah, those particulars are all worked out, and the gate can be done safely there, and we figure out all the logistics. Sounds okay. Yeah.
Make it work.
So moving forward, you guys are gonna meet with Tim Griswold or something?
I'll talk to Tim tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tim and David Long, first selectman from Lyme, because,
yeah,
Lyme shares the responsibility for the center.
sure.
And we'll maybe get Stephanie involved, or she really doesn't have to be there, but it would be nice to have her.
And I think it'd be good too if the police would tell you exactly where the best spot would be for this, so we could get a better idea, because we wouldn't want to cause an accident out in the street by being too close to the street if somebody mistakenly gets in there and we're not backed up,
I've spoken with Matt a few times about
Yes.
this, and he has ideas about how it would be.
Okay, yeah, well, we'd love to hear those ideas in the future. Yeah.
And by the way, I went to my first Red Sox game when I was 9 months old, so I am in support of anything to do with baseball.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I went to see the Yankees when I was 9 years old, so maybe that's why I'm still a Yankee fan. Okay, good enough. All right, so we'll move on to Director's Report. Don?
All right, I'll just go through this. Mary Ellen, I'll send it to you.
Thank you, Don.
Programs going on. We have adult volleyball going on Thursdays. This winter session started January 5th, goes through March 16th. There are currently 26 people participating. Adult basketball, the winter sessions are in process. We play primarily on Wednesday nights. This session goes through March 29th. Sunday mornings, that goes through March 26th, and the spring sessions will continue when we figure out which stage we're going. And there's currently 22 people signed up for that. Zumba Fitness is in process on Tuesdays here. The winter session is going through March 7th. We hold those at the Center School Gym. There's currently 10 participants in that, and the spring sessions, it will continue in the spring, and again, spring sessions will be determined. Yoga winter sessions are in process on Wednesdays at Mono Creek School. Same thing, spring sessions will be determined. Winter youth basketball, we have a lot of kids this year compared to the last few years. There's 158 kids participating. We have a new preschool group, actually two groups. There's 37 3- and 4-year-old kids playing basketball. We got them broken into two groups. They go on Saturday mornings at the high school. We have parents involved. You can't participate in that without your parents to help with some of the crowd control. People and the kids love it. We broke the boys and girls, except for preschool kids, separately this year because we had a much larger number of girls. It's working out better for everybody. We got boys age group 7 to 11. We got 33 kids playing in that. Girls age 5 to 7. We got 28 girls in there. Boys age 5 and 6. We got two groups of them with 42 total. And girls 8 to 11. We got 18 participants. So the basketball program has grown by over 50 people this year alone. Summer staff, the review of last year's staff is in process. See who's coming back. As of this morning, there were 18 confirmed coming back of the 39 I had last year. 8 are not returning. 6 are unsure at this time. And I'm still waiting to hear from 7. New applications will be accepted at this point going forward. And lifeguards, again, seem to be in short supply this year. So we are in contact with Valley Shore YMCA trying to arrange our own certification class for lifeguards. And I believe we can do that. If we get 6 people attending it, we can sponsor a class over there, which would be good because that's...
Where would the swim lessons be?
The Valley Shore YMCA. So we're working on that.
And where is that?
Westbrook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Parks and Rec budget. My initial budget has been completed for a couple months now, and it's been reviewed with the finance director. I'm scheduled to meet with our 2 Parks and Rec representatives of the Board of Finance on Monday, February 6th. And I'm scheduled to review the budget with the Board of Finance on Tuesday, February 14th. As far as facilities go, obviously everything is closed up for the winter. Since the last meeting, the docks have been removed from Haynes Park. And then the Haynes Park Playground and Cross Lane Tennis Basketball Courts. Sarah, Misty, and myself met informally in November, and we got to get back together on that to get going on that. And we'll schedule that, and I'll give updates as we go. And that's it for me.
Any questions for comments for Don? Oh?
No.
Okay, Don, thank you very much. Very thorough and informative. Okay, next thing, Haynes Park security cameras. I spoke to Tom Meyer last week, and he's going forward with contacting Comcast about setting up security camera system for Haynes Park, and also now for this building. I believe there was some vandalism recently took place, and they're talking about cameras on this building. And basically, he said it all depends on how many cameras you're gonna have, because we would have to buy the cameras. They don't supply the cameras, Comcast, but they supply the infrastructure and the computer infrastructure, and I don't know about the cloud business, but how everyone, it will all go to a central location, such as police and fire department.
So when you say we, you mean the town would pay for all the cameras, not Parks and Rec?
The town, not Parks, yeah, the town.
Okay, I didn't know if we had to pay for the ones.
Yeah, no, they have money. Remember, I think Martha was here several months ago, and they were talking about having cameras lots of places in town, and using the COVID infrastructure money or something they received, but, so, there is money to do this now. It'll be a gradual process, but certainly Haynes Park is on the list to have it done, and I believe this building now. And as far as any other places are concerned, I don't know. Tom's gonna get more information. Apparently, here's one about what it would cost to hook up to the lines on the street. He doesn't have a number on that. And, there's other ancillary, is that the right way to say it? Ancillary cost to doing this besides just the cameras and Comcast themselves. So he's looking into that, and he's going to get more information back, and hopefully by the springtime we'll get some cameras out there. But I'm not keeping my fingers crossed it's going to happen. It's not going to happen right in the beginning of the spring, but maybe later in the spring, we'll see. Okay, any questions about that? No? All right, the next one is the sidewalk to the boathouse and / pavilion location. Don, would you like to give a little background into what's going on?
Originally, months ago, it was approved to put a sidewalk from the two current handicap parking spaces in Haynes Park parking lot, running parallel with the basketball court going over towards the boathouse, as they never made that boathouse handicap accessible officially.
Can I add something to that? Because with the STEEP grant, that was supposed to be done. That you, not only does the building have to be handicap accessible, but access to the building from handicap spots. And that was never done. So go ahead.
So along with that, there was the facilities director took out fill out the inland wetlands permit and all that stuff, got all the approvals to do this. And there was another section of sidewalk to come off of that one that goes directly to the bathrooms. And then there was also going to be a pad right in that same area by the basketball court to 4 where the pavilion was going to go. And not in construction a week or so ago with the warm weather, we decided to do this. So we went out and looked at it, and I made some suggestions to make some changes. And the changes, the basic change is to install the sidewalk as the plan listed, eliminate the other sidewalk that was going to go from there to the bathrooms, and move the location of the pavilion. And the reason I thought that it would be better to move the location of the pavilion had several points to it. Number one, it's kind of crowded if it was right there. Number two, if there's big trees right there that the roots of the trees probably be affected by digging in and putting this concrete pad. Number three, I felt that the people that would use it might be just the kids hanging around playing basketball, so there might be just bicycles in there all the time and just kids hanging out on it instead of people using the park, so to speak. And number four, I felt that the rowers, I knew that the rowers were not happy with having over there. They felt it was encroaching on their ability to spread out and do their boats and regattas and stuff like that. So it was a sticking point for them for sure. So I made a suggestion to Bob and to put it on the other side of the park, and its location would be right about where the old swing set is, because that's coming out when we do the playground. And I thought it was better suited over there for all the reasons that I had said. And so Macnick went ahead and put the sidewalk in like we described. It's done now. It's uncovered today and all filled in with dirt and stuff on the side of it. Looks nice. I got a new wetlands permit. I filled out all that paperwork. I asked the appropriate questions upstairs, got it on the wetlands agenda. It was last week, I guess, or so. They approved moving it as long as I proposed it be moved pending approval of the Parks and Rec Commission. So what I'm going to ask you tonight is to approve or not approve the location of the pavilion to the other side of the park as it's listed on my drawings here. And anybody wants to take a look at it, I can explain it a little better, but.
Yeah, and basically, there's a lot of room over there. You wouldn't affect any trees or roots. Someone could be in the pavilion and be able to watch what goes on at the bathroom, the lake, the playground, and it wouldn't jam up things as much. And I think when Don and I looked at it and we had Tom Macnick just put some paint down, it looks like a beautiful spot to put it. And like we said, it wouldn't interfere as much with the rowing activity. And yeah, Don and I both agree that
What do you call
this is
the
good.
placement for the motion that's going to be made to approve the proposal?
I'm just asking for the Parks and Rec Commission to approve the relocation as described on the,
Do you want to just pass that around,
Yeah.
have a picture of it or something? It's
no,
where this,
To the right?
It would be to the right as you were,
as you get in the parking lot, it'd be a little bit to the right. Now, we have to put a handicap accessible path to the playground equipment, because that's playground equipment's handicap accessible. So Don and I thought that if you had a path going there, you could just have a little chute off the path to go to the pavilion, because that's going to have to be handicap accessible, because we're going to have handicap picnic benches in there. So it seemed like a very reasonable idea, and yeah.
I think it's a great location for it.
Good
Yeah.
location, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it will
It's
be,
more
a-
like quieter, peaceful over there.
Yeah.
Little kids will go over there more.
Yeah.
I mean, the pavilion, if that's what it's called at Town Woods, like parents and kids use it all the time. Go in there, get some shade.
oh, in the playground, yeah, and that'd be a good place for parents to watch their kids in the playground, as well as on the beach or wherever, like, so.
Mary Ellen, I'm just asking the Parks and Rec Commission to approve or not, up to you, the relocation of the pavilion at Haynes Park as per the wetlands.
Hey, you could just maybe include that as an addition on the,
as per wetlands,
As per the Wetlands and Watercourse Commission.
okay. I just wanted it for the
They've approved it, but,
wetlands and water, what do you call it?
well,
I
the
thought it's inland wetlands or something it's
water
called.
courses,
Water courses, is that one word?
yes.
Yeah, and maybe if you could just put that application and attach it to the minutes, that would be,
Okay.
Don and Mary Ellen?
That's kind of hard to do. I want to pay-
Or just the diagram of just the position of where it would be, rather than the whole,
They don't take, that would be a PDF, or they don't take that.
I think it's going to be fine if you just,
okay, all right. I think it,
That's the word.
yeah, no,
I just wanted it for the
yeah.
motion.
Okay, we don't have to do that if that's a problem, okay? All right, so the motion is, you want to repeat the motion?
To approve the proposed relocation of the pavilion at Haynes Park as per the Wetlands and Water Courses
Courses Commission.
Commission.
Oh, I can do.
Permit.
To the area where currently swings are?
It's, I know that everybody see it, but there might be some confusion when somebody reads that. We're not moving a pavilion right now because there was a proposed location before to a new proposed.
Proposed location.
Well, I have moved to approve the proposed relocation of the pavilion at Haynes Park.
In the area adjacent to where the swing set
As
is.
per the Wetlands and Water Courses Commission.
Permit.
Permit. So
That's fine, anybody wants to argue that?
You don't wanna put down where we're moving it to?
The proposed,
It's for the.
It's a
The
the proposed relocation of the proposed location.
Can you just say in the general area where the current swing set is?
I'm not worried about the area.
That area.
There's a picture of it on the permit where it goes.
But we're not gonna submit that, so what happens when somebody wants to know where you're proposing to put it?
Then they can look at the permit.
Maybe just add, please see permit. Yeah.
I can send you a picture if you want, Mary Ellen, but
Please see the permit. I don't know, where's the permit filed on?
up in their offices, and I have my.
Put
Permit on file.
permit on file.
Public.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's lawyer talk.
Public permit
Cover
on
you.
file.
Yeah, we got two lawyers, you know, what's the proper language?
Come on, that's it, yeah. It's all public, nothing.
Okay, so who's
I will
making?
make a motion to approve proposed relocation of the proposed pavilion location to the
I have Ed Haynes Park.
approved permit
Say yes.
location on file with the wetlands and water courses
Ryan Lee, expert champion tonight. I second.
to the right of,
Yeah,
to the right of.
whatever you just said, I think everybody is ready to vote.
Okay,
I think Mary Ellen's got most of it down.
take a vote.
Okay, anybody, okay, it's been one, so somebody second that motion? Okay, any more discussion about that? No, hearing none, okay, we're ready for a vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No one, abstained, no one, okay, done with that.
Good job,
Moving.
Moving on, the next one is, the Haynes Park playground equipment. We've seen the three proposals about a year ago. Don, you're gonna come with next meeting with?
Yeah, I'm gonna meet with Sarah and
Yeah,
miss you again, and we'll go.
and then next meeting we'll decide on, I think when we had the general meeting, everyone agreed with, there were three levels, and everyone agreed with either the lower level or the mid-level expensive one versus the most expensive. So, we'll talk about that at the next meeting and do a final approval. Okay, the senior center gate location, we already took care of. The last one is the lacrosse field in the valley area. Don, you wanna?
I haven't talked to anybody except today I got an information that the Connecticut River Lacrosse Club is going to have people from Clinton as well in that organization, because their group folded. So there's gonna be more people probably in the lacrosse club, but at the same time, it gives them the opportunity to use more fields, so I have no more information other than that.
But Valley's still gonna be involved?
As far as I know.
They have a
Because,
I think what needs to be done is an invite by the Connecticut Lacrosse Club to the next month's
meeting, next month's meeting, to invite them, and exactly, because we did ask them, to try and secure a field prior to this coming season, because they didn't have one last year,
It'd
and
be good to get ahead of the season as much as possible.
What does that club be? The Tick?
Connecticut River Valley Lacrosse.
Yeah.
It is the Ticks though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same
So who
umbrella.
are we inviting? Just the Tick people or the?
Connecticut River Valley Lacrosse Club is the official name nowadays, but they go by the.
yeah, whoever's the official leaders of that, to come to the next meeting. And
Do we have to have the?
And hopefully, they said a new athletic director was taking place, and they'd be able to get a field. So we'll have them come to the next meeting. Anybody else want to say anything about that? No? Okay.
Let's just get ahead of it so that it's not right before the season, hey, you're preventing kids from playing lacrosse.
We've never prevented kids from playing lacrosse.
The amputation of that. Agreed.
Yeah, and so
They got accused of.
I think that if they come next, hopefully we made a pretty strong argument they have to do something. Hopefully they're doing something to alleviate everything that's being played just at most of it, Townwoods Park. Okay, correspondence. There's no correspondence. There's no public here left. Any public comment out in telephone land? Hearing none. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Okay. Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're done. And it's, 7:10, not bad. Okay, I'm gonna end the call.